Mario Cristobal talks to Joe Rose December 1st. Let's dive right into it.
38-10, 41-7, 34-17, and then 38-7. The last four games in the four-game winning streak, just absolute dominance in those games.
Good morning, Joe. Appreciate you, man. It was certainly a fun Saturday, dominant Saturday. A lot of guys played, and you know what? The Canes are just fine with the cold weather.
Yeah. Isn't that something? I want to know, where are all the people that was tweeting, that was making videos, talking about this damn cold weather? I promise you, sometimes we come up with the silliest reasons why a team is going to lose or win a game, instead of looking at the two teams that are actually playing the game, right? Oh, it's November. Oh, it's the weather. Oh, it's not in the state of Florida. And then when Miami does it, don't hear no peep. We don't get credit for winning in the cold weather, but before the game, we're going to get criticized for playing in the cold weather, and it's going to be used to say that Miami can't handle the cold weather. Well, we went down there, we put belt to ass in cold weather, hot weather, warm weather, lukewarm weather, whatever type of weather you want. We had the belt ready.
Well, we got one team. We got one team that knocked that out. So that's a great point. Yeah, it didn't seem, I don't know what it was, but it didn't affect any of your guys on either side of the ball. It's incredible when you look at the defense. They've been so good really all year, Coach. And from first downs to total yards to Canes' run defense, everybody's a little concerned. 21 carries, 30 yards for Pitt after the game they had against Georgia Tech. Just everything. The pass rush, my gosh, the secondary really just if it's the eyeball test, it clearly, the way you're playing right now, looks like one of the best teams in the country. I'm guessing you'd agree with that.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty neat. Someone put it in perspective yesterday. It's you look at us on paper entering the season, we had the toughest non-conference schedule, and we beat those teams, and some of them got beat up along the way, and they fell off a little bit, but it was by hands down, no one else was willing to play Notre Dame, Florida, Florida State, USF right back to back to back, and you know what? We played some really high level ball, and now you look at us in November, we're actually playing significantly better than we did back then, and getting healthier. So that's the part that really stands out for us. And again, when you have that and you have a head-to-head, opportunity against one of the teams you're being compared against, I think it's just an awesome situation for the University of Miami.
Here's what I'll say, because people will look at you watch this video, they will tell you that, yeah, well, maybe Miami won the head-to-head, but they lost 2 games in 3 weeks. I would listen to that argument if I looked at the top teams and there were 6-7 teams undefeated. There's 2 teams that's undefeated. There's 2. So everybody lost. So okay, now that we know that everybody lost, no, not everybody was perfect, like they want Miami to be. What do we look like? Because they told us it's about what you look like now. And I believe that narrative was put out because people thought Miami would look worse as the end of the year came. People kept saying it's about what you look like now, because at the time people thought Miami was going to fall off. But they whooped Syracuse ass. They whooped North Carolina State ass. They whooped Virginia Tech ass. And then I know everybody said, well, you know what? Even if they beat Pitt, they're not going to beat them worse than Notre Dame did. You know what? We're going to rank Pitt. It is going to be on the road. And I bet you this Miami team will not beat Pitt worse than Miami did. So when that happens, they're either going to lose because we know they're going to collapse, or we can use the excuse they didn't beat Pitt like Notre Dame did. Well, what happened? They told us it's about what you look like now. We ran the table, and we look like one of the best teams in the nation. And I'm not just saying that because I love Miami. I'm saying that because it's true. Then we went to Pittsburgh, who they built up to be the big bad team. And not only beat them, manhandled them, worse than Notre Dame did. So my question is, what will they use now? Because they're out of excuses at this point. They're out of excuses. To now people are saying, well, Miami lost 2 games in 3 weeks. Notre Dame lost 2 games in a row. Alabama has one of the worst losses of the season. They lost to a losing team, to a team that could not win on the road. Haven't won on the road in 2 years, and they beat Alabama, and they didn't beat them by a field goal like Miami lost to Louisville by. They didn't lose to that team in overtime. They lost by 2 touchdowns to Florida State. So if we want to start talking about losses, then it has to be equal across the board. Hold everybody to that standard. And stop making the silly-ass excuses, because the excuses you made for the past 4 weeks, Miami has knocked them all down.
One thing I've really liked about this team, from the guys that came in on the transfer portal to guys you've recruited to this freshman class, the Malachi Tony, the Pringle, the Fitzgerald, you can go on and on with other guys, but those 3 really had their prints on this game, how they played. It's just incredible. And there's just no drop-off. You're getting it from every part of your team, and the skill set. You got a couple guys back who also played well in this game. I do want to ask you about Malachi Tony now that it's done. I know we do this every week. Well, I know there's been some special freshmen. I don't want to take away from Reuben Bain or Maui Noah when they came in as true freshmen. But what this guy does, whether he has the ball or he's a decoy, just incredible. The bigger game, I mean, some of the catches he makes in this last game. Coach, you've now had a chance to see it for 12 games in spring football. What would you say about Malachi Tony?
Yeah, he's all right. You know, yeah, he's obviously a special player. And again, you know, all the stuff he could do with the ball besides just catching it is it's just part of what the package he brings to the table. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped over on defense and played man-to-man coverage and played it at the highest level as well. He's just he understands the ins and outs of the game as well as anybody you'll see from being a freshman to being a senior. And every single day, he just brings it, Joe. I mean, every day, everything is a competition. He does it at the highest level. And he's relentless, man. He truly is one of those guys that just, he doesn't stop. He's the Energizer Bunny, man. He just brings it every single day.
You have to be very intelligent to do what Malachi Tony's doing, because your coach is asking you to line up at this position, that position, this position, that position, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. And he's not just asking you to line up at one of these positions and stay there. Malachi's motioning every time. So he has to know the play call. He has to know all the different variations of the play call. He has to know where to line up, how to line up. And that's easy to do when you are the ex-receiver. That is tough to do when you have to play multiple positions. And what has really impressed me is not only that he's able to know all the plays and execute all the plays, he's done it without making a lot of mistakes. Knock on wood. Because I'm watching him throughout the season, I'm like, he's going to have a game where he has like 2 drops. He doesn't do that. He's going to have a game where he lines up in the wrong position. I haven't seen that. He's going to have a game where there's they try to run the ball and the quarterback, and he's going to get overzealous and throw it into coverage. I haven't seen that. And for him to be that young and to be able to handle everything that the coaches are throwing to him and not hit a freshman wall is something that you don't see a lot. and it's amazing. Even the little things, catching a 3-yard pass, juking 2 or 3 guys, and I just don't know. What is this kid's work ethic and diet is what I would like to know, because they have him doing everything, and he gets better as the game goes along. And then when he doesn't get the ball, he's blocking his ass off. So I would like to know, what is Malachi Tony day-to-day regimen, nutrition, that can get this man to play on game day like he has Zizu beans, like he has Red Bull after every play. It is flat out really amazing when you think about it. When you look at how much, especially in this last game, Miami went to him.
We don't do this very much. I thought your coordinators had great games and overall really good seasons in Shannon Dawson and Corey Heatherman. Game plans and getting guys in positions to do things that they do best, whether it's guys that blitz, guys in coverage, guys that, and letting guys tee off, letting the best players look like the best players. I just thought the game plans were outstanding.
Yeah, appreciate that. I'm sure they will too. They very adaptable guys, very hardworking, team-oriented dudes that understand the simple concept of players over plays. It's always got to be players over plays. We all have good plays, good ideas, but brother, if you don't put the right guys in the right situation, it's not going to look as good. And I think as the season went on, we got better at doing that, and started playing more and more to our strengths. And credit to both those guys. They're elite people and super hard workers, so it was great to see them get the results they got.
With Coach Heatherman, the defense has been good all year, but I wanted to see how this defense will look with Keontae Scott out. How could Heatherman get another nickel to play his position and still play at a high clip? We bring Bryce Fitzgerald into that role, and he hasn't looked exactly like Keontae Scott, but he's looked very good, especially to be a freshman. So I give Coach Heatherman a lot of credit for getting him prepared, and not only getting him prepared, again, that is a true freshman. So if you come in, Miami is showing you that they're not just throwing players in because of stars. If you can help this team, it seems like they're going to put you on the field. See Malachi Tony, see Bryce Fitzgerald. Shout out to Coach Heatherman. Coach Dawson, there are a lot of times I've seen plenty of times where you have a special player and you use them, but you don't really use them how you really can. And I feel like for Dawson to use Malachi how he's using them, some coaches wouldn't do that. Because some coaches are worried about looking gimmicky. Some coaches are worried about Malachi Tony getting all the credit. Dawson has put in an offense inside of an offense, and it's really made Miami dangerous. Especially when, like Dawson said, this isn't like you have a wide receiver who can throw the ball and, he only can throw a go route. So when you bring him in, everybody says, oh, that's the wide receiver who can throw. Malachi Tony's on the field every play, and every play he could end up throwing the ball. But if you think about him doing that too much, he's one of the best wide receivers that'll route your ass up. So shout out to Shannon Dawson for putting him in that position and trusting him. And Malachi Tony said, you know what? You trust me? Well, I'm about to put in this work. And he has put in that work.
Stepping back here, just dropping back for a second, I thought Carson Beck really ended up having a really good season. I know he had the one hiccup in Louisville with some picks, but I thought overall, especially this last month, he has been really, really good, Coach.
Yeah, he's actually been the best in the country over the last 4 weeks. And, in the middle of the season had the hiccup, but, again, the resiliency of a guy that what he went through this past summer, he's actually, like healthy now. He missed so much earlier. He is hard to defend. He's really, really smart. I think for whatever reason, I don't know if it's if this is the right thing to say. I just think he was misunderstood before, man, before arriving here. That guy is really, he's a special player. He's a special quarterback. He is a special worker, a special teammate. And again, it just all fits well. This is a great blend of guys. This is a group of guys that has put their best foot forward here at the end at a really high level. It's a group of guys that deserves to keep playing.
Is Carson Beck on our team? It's weird because is he on our team? Because I know after the Louisville game when he had a bad game, all I saw was Carson Beck this, Carson Beck that. I saw that, yeah. And then after the SMU game where he played well, but he threw the interception at the end of the game, he went viral. I saw trending Carson Beck, trending Carson Beck, trending Carson Beck. But for the last 4 weeks, he has played the quarterback at a level to get us to 4-0, not turning the ball over at a high clip, playing well, throwing for multiple touchdowns each game, and I don't hear anybody talking about him. I guess the national media, when Carson Beck does good, it's like he's a ghost. If Carson Beck wants to be on SportsCenter and wants to be the talk of the town, he has to throw interceptions, huh? That's when y'all start clipping up interviews and shit, right? When y'all start cutting off the interviews and the questions and shit, right? Because if I hadn't been somebody who follows, eats, sleeps, and breathes the Miami Hurricane team, and I just listen to the national media and what they say on social media, then I wouldn't even know that Carson Beck has existed the last month because they don't talk about him when he does what he's supposed to do. It's very interesting how that happens.
Committee, College Football Playoff Committee, obviously going to have final say. I know we have the conference championship games coming up here, and everybody's waiting on those. By the way, before I get to that, Duke is 7-5 playing in the championship game. It just sounds weird to go 7-5 and not play a tough schedule outside of the conference and have that many losses and be able to still play. And I know that's the system we've set up, everybody agreed to. I just wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, the system is just, it's a little bit, it's different, man. I'm a big fan of divisions because everybody's alive, everybody's playing, and you have a chance to play, each other maybe a little bit more often than not. But however it ended up, to Duke and to Virginia, you have to be you got to be like a real deal person. Say congratulations, not that we all agree with the way it played out and the way the tiebreakers are set up, but you don't hate on that. You say congratulations, good luck, man, and you keep working and focusing on your stuff.
Salute Mario. Salute Mario. Because I did not, I feel like for me to come on here and say, why the hell is Duke in the ACC championship game? That's one thing. But if Mario would have got on this microphone and started whining and crying about Duke being in the ACC championship game and not Miami, I feel like that would have looked bad. Because this isn't the college football playoffs. This is your ACC counterpoint. You're the leader of men. You guys lost the game. You got to take that on the chin. And I like what Mario said. When you listen to what he said, he didn't say that he's okay with it. He didn't say he agreed with it. But at the end of the day, you got to say congrats, Virginia, congrats, Duke. I think we should go back to divisions. I don't know why it's one big pot and you play. Mario don't like that. I don't like that. And it's some things that could be fixed, but at the end of the day, we had our chances. We didn't get them. I'm glad Mario wasn't crying about that.
All right, so the one that's really getting everybody, especially after the way you guys played on Saturday, is this College Football Playoff Committee the week before had made, our eyeball test, this eyeball test of who's played the best and throughout, and they've been on this thing, especially it seems always come up the Canes and Notre Dame, And now some of the national guys I'm hearing are like, wait a second. When did head-to-head, even if it's early in the season, when you only play 12 games, it's still got to be important. You can't throw away whatever happens early in the season like it doesn't count. And that's kind of what Notre Dame is doing right now. Like, we've been good since early in the season. We've been as good as anybody. I'm really curious to see how the head-to-head thing, after you beat Notre Dame, I don't care where you beat them. And you got to get credit for it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. It's, it's all about doing it in a professional manner. That's really, really important. And our job is to try to make their job as easy as possible, right? And so when you play the same opponents and you do a better job against them, I mean, that carries a ton of value. And then you hope that two teams have an opportunity to play each other to really make it easier. And we did that. We had an opportunity to play head-to-head, and all those facts and all the numbers that go with it. The way that game was graded and the way the offense and defensive lines performed against each other, right? The way key players performed, what they were able to accomplish, or how many yards they were limited to. I think all that stuff has you give yourself an opportunity to present a really clear picture as to who is most deserving. And I think when you have data like that, number one, playing each other, that's always right, first and foremost, the best.
Right.
And then having played against the exact same teams and having done a better job, minus the one, I think one team had a lacrosse player start a game at quarterback, so that got out of whack. But aside from that, it's the numbers heavily lean towards the University of Miami, and we're going to keep presenting the information that is truthful.
Get ready to shop Lowe's Black Friday door. Go fast.
Important, and I'm a dead.
Seeing all the reasons why, no matter who's playing well right now, Miami's playing better than everybody.
And
Mario. That boy Mario crazy. He said, if we played the same competition and we beat them worse, besides one, I believe that one team had a lacrosse player. I'm going to say what Mario just said. Look, we went head-to-head and we whooped that ass. We went head-to-head, and when you look at how the trenches worked, we whipped that ass. And when you looked at what players were limited to, a.k.a. Jeremiah Love, who has ran, jumped, spinned across every team in America besides the U, he only had 33 yards against us, and they lost. Now, head-to-head isn't the end-all, be-all. But when you continue throughout the season, you saw a similar schedule, okay? You saw a similar strength of schedule, strength of record, okay? Both of them are right there. And then you look at when they played the same opponent, who beat who the worst? Miami beat more opponents worse than Notre Dame. So I believe when both of them are right there, and how many games did Notre Dame lose? 2. Okay. How many games did Miami lose? 2. Well, then the obvious thing to say is, who won the head-to-head? Miami. They should be ranked over Notre Dame. Mario said they played a lacrosse player. Oh, Lord.
And I got to tell you, last year's team and this year's team really, and you had the first overall pick in the draft, and minus the Cam Ward thing, this team is so much better at every part of it, from pass rushing to coverage to offensive line, and then defensively, completely different team, the way they played, and Moten and Mesidor and Bain up front have just really dominated. The linebackers, way your guys are running around making plays, that's the eyeball test for me. These guys we want good college football playoff games. We don't want blowouts. I get it. And it just, again, goes back to, it just looks like you've got a really talented team in about every part of it, which you've been part of. You know what they look like.
You know what, when we got here, that was the whole purpose, right? Build a sustainable team that gets better every single year. And that's what we're doing, and that's not going to stop. And right now, I think you said a couple things that are really important. This team is can win at any level against anybody because of the talent level, because of what we do schematically, and really the culture and the style of play. We're a very physical football team, and it shows up every single week. I mean, our front lines are graded at the highest level. Our explosive playmakers are being put in the situations to be able to make plays. Our defense is playing zone and man coverage as well as you can play it, and taking over football games where, you know, there's considerable separation. And, you know, Joe, honestly, like, we feel like we're just getting started. I mean, we're hitting on all cylinders now. We're getting healthy. We got a couple more guys back. We still didn't have OJ this past game or David Blake. And TJ got in at the end. You see how he's getting healthy in a hurry, right?
Yeah, man.
So this is a great time for us. And that's both the eyeball test and the field test. Like we've put it on film, right? The eye and the sky don't lie, brother, you know? So we put it on film, we put it on the field, and we've done it at the right time, at the time where, you know what, I think there was an opportunity, and it was made clear that Miami has to show some more consistency. Well, you know what? That's what we've been working on, and that's what we have done very clearly and at a higher level than some of the teams we're being compared against.
Coach, what?
If this team doesn't make the playoffs, I'll be very upset, and the reason because I know how good this team is. Last year's team, if we would have made the playoffs, I would have been afraid every game because of our defense. This year's team, if we make the playoffs, I think they can make a run because this is a complete team, offense and defense. And I like what Mario says. If this team is to make the playoffs, so we would go to the playoffs and we would get several weeks to rest. That means OJ comes back, David Blake comes back. Any players that's dealing with bumps and bruises, they get to come back healthy. I really hope this team gets to show what they can do in the playoffs. I think this team deserves it. And a fully healthy Miami that's playing like this, man.
Changed for besides the dominant start, the dominant finish, especially over the last four, which hasn't happened around here in a long, long time. What was the difference?
I just think when you make a decision there's nothing more powerful than the power of choice. And we've really wanted to make a cultural shift here from the moment we got here. And I know that's easy to say, but it's hard to do, man. You know, it's hard to do in years and years and years, decades of, you know, that month coming around the corner is like, oh, crap, you know, Miami. And we've been chipping away at that. We've gotten closer and closer. I mean, Joe, I don't think we're 20-4 in our last 24 regular season games, and the ones that we didn't get, it came down to one possession or one play. You know, like this program is forging forward in a manner where, like, it's supposed to be, and a lot of pride was taken in that word finish, and a lot of work was done from January all the way through now to make sure that finish was a real thing. So credit to the players, number one, first and foremost, man. They bought into what we do, which is really hard, really challenging, but it's the right stuff. And you know what? They're starting to see the benefits of it.
What Mario said is something that I don't even think about. I get caught up in, are we going to the playoffs? Are we not going to the playoffs? How could we lose to SMU? I get so caught up in that I forget. These last 2 years, we are 20-4. 20-4. And in those 4 games, it's come down to one possession. There used to be times where we lost to FIU, where we went toe-to-toe with Bama and got embarrassed, where we allowed 500 yards rushing on the ground, where we had a chance to go into the postseason and do something, and we lose to a freshman quarterback at Pitt. There was some dark times, and even at the beginning of Mario's tenure, losing to Florida State getting blown out, losing to Middle Tennessee State. And now we're at a time, back-to-back seasons, where we are 20-4, and those 4 losses are all one-possession game. Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Louisville, and SMU. All one-possession games. That's something to think about. Because there have been seasons where we're a laughing stock from getting beat down. Getting beat down. And look, I never like to lose, but damn, I'd rather put up a fight and lose than get beat down. 20-4 in 2 seasons.
Before I let you go, so you got a week to kind of wait on these conference games. So is it recruiting? Is it meeting with your own guys? A little practice? What's the game plan this week?
For the players, I mean, today we do players to the game and watch the film and all that other stuff, wrapping that part up. But we lift and we run. You know, we got to stay in shape. We got to make sure we stay flexible, toned up, agile, like all the things. You never want to take too much time off, because then when you spike up the amount of workload, then you destroy your body, man. You kill all the good things you did. So we'll do that. A lot of recruiting, signing day on Wednesday, a lot of self-scouting, a lot of film watching. It doesn't stop, man.
Jeez.
So let's just say we're not going Christmas shopping this week, all right?
No. I got that. So how big is this Wednesday, first signing date for you?
It's huge. I mean, now college football, you're looking at the amount of players you're bringing in at this time of year. Joe, it's people are eclipsing 35, 40, sometimes 50 players. It's the way of the world now, and you know it's part of it. And they won't get here until January. You still have a lot of season to play here. We're really excited. We're very enthused that things are going to work our way because we've earned it. But at the same time, the machine doesn't stop, man. Not if you want to keep getting better every year, and that's the goal, and we're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, it's really, you got a pretty good idea, by the way. I was going to ask you this, of who's staying and who might be leaving, which is part of college football now on the transfer portal side of this. Would you say you got a pretty good idea? We're
getting feedback from a lot of the NFL teams, the scouts, the general managers as to where, certain guys right now, where they fit in terms of the draft and whatnot. And as we gather that information, we'll have meetings with guys. We're very open and honest. We never tell anybody what to do. We provide the information. When asked for, our opinion, we give it. And we do everything as it's our very own son. I wouldn't give anybody any information that I wouldn't give my own son. And that's the way we do it, because that's the right thing to do. And it's always the best way. So, but we're gathering all that information, and it's getting closer and closer. But I'll focus right now, brother, on getting better and getting a shot at these playoffs.
Mario, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it.
I wonder if Joe was talking about transfer portal or draft guys, because when he started asking the question, I was thinking about transfer portal guys. But the rankings come out Tuesday. We'll see. That'll be interesting to see where they put us, and then we'll go from there, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm out. Peace.